something that I've been pondering on lately quite a while. Why is it that we have to go through our ups and downs, our breakdowns, to open our eyes and look at the reality of things? And what I mean by reality of things is to see that things are not how they seem to be. To understand that the stories that we believe we're playing out, or the stories that we believe we're invested in, are not real, and that we're chasing or living or trying to live something that isn't inherently ours. So whatever we're trying to live out or create or manifest, usually it comes from a very superficial, from a very inauthentic place. I'm not talking for everybody, I'm talking for myself and my own experience and the people around me that I see. You know, we've got these programs, we've got these impressions from our childhood, from our past, growing up, learning to integrate, learning about ourselves, learning about what we are, what we should be, what our capabilities are, and then trying to live the life that was set for us. But trying to live a life that was set for you, like following the standard path, it only takes a little while until you start to feel and realize that somehow something is missing. Somehow it doesn't feel like there's texture to it, like there is, it's like food without vitamins. You eat, and because there's sugar, it can give you a lot of stimulation. It can give you a high. It can give you the impression that you really are consuming something, and it can give you a temporary boost of energy. But there's always a down, and you have to keep on doing certain things to get to be on the high. So it's chasing certain experiences to make yourself feel good, to make up for things that you're not getting, because we're always looking to fulfill our needs. It's a very delicate and complicated subject, because we all have so many unconscious needs that most of us are not aware of. Like first and most of all, the need to be loved, right? If we as a child growing up, if we didn't receive the love that we so wanted, then all of a sudden there's a gap. There's an impression that something's missing. And that impression, it's only an impression, and it's actively living in our system, and it's actually projecting out on the world constantly. Where can I get my need met? Who can meet my need? So we're always looking, consciously or unconsciously, for somebody to fill our needs. Now the real interesting thing is that if you do the inner work, if you look at everything that's going on inside of you, it's like, these things that you perceive, these emotions, these needs, these thoughts, these judgments, impressions, they all have a root. So there's always it's like on a computer, if you have like a file, right? You can click into the file, in the directory, to the root, to the folder where it all originated, where it all started, where it was implanted. And it's interesting how few people actually go to the root. Because going to the root, it takes a certain kind of, I wouldn't say, I want to say courage, but it's not courage. It's more about a certain kind of willingness to not repeat the cycle, to not repeat the scenario, to not waste energy anymore. Because if you repeat certain cycles over and over again, if you try to get certain needs over and over again, there comes a point where you come up to the breakdown of a situation where you realize, for the 25th time, for the 10th time, for the third time, for the first time, I understand that my need cannot be met by this person and by all the others. It cannot. It can temporarily make me feel like maybe there's hope, there's a chance. It's like, falling in love. When you fall in love and you see that person. I truly believed in love. I truly believed in the idea of love, in the sense that there's a person and you see that person, you connect with that person, and once there's a connection, there's immediately a feeling, a bond, and it's something special, right? But if you really dig down deep into the subtleties, the texture, the structure of those feelings, you will actually come to see that in the root of it, it's basically a projection or a hope. I love the teacher Anthony DeMello, who said we always have like an unconscious checklist of certain traits and qualities and characteristics that people have, and it's like we look at people and it's like check, 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 check. So you feel attracted, you don't understand it, but it's all happening on an unconscious level. But the thing is, you can become conscious of these processes, and it's happening, and then the feeling starts to well up. And I've investigated it in myself, and it was actually a feeling of hope. It wasn't about love, it was actually hope. And the hope was, it was my inner child, that innocent, sweet kid that from the past that just hopes, looking at that person, wow, she's so kind, she's so sweet, she's so beautiful. I will be able, through her, with her, to experience these kind of situations. I will be able to be in that quality, in that aroma, in that atmosphere with her. And through that, I will be immersed, and I will feel great, and I will at last calm down. I will feel fulfilled. But then after a while, what you notice is the person on whom you project that, they have their own waves, they have their own layers, their own patterns. It's not like they're fixed, right? So they change. Their behavior changes according to yours. And there's a constant, almost feels like a game. Another teacher, John de Ruyter, I like how he tells it. It's like, in the beginning, when there's this newness, you're just carried by this wave. But then once the newness fades away, you're just gonna have the same kind of relationships that you have with your family members. It's that kind of dynamic. And if you're really honest about it, how do you treat them? How do you act towards them? How do you express yourself authentically, inauthentically? What is it based on? What is the truth of it? Are you expressing everything that wants to be expressed? Are you saying everything that wants to be said? And if you're not, why not? I know for me, for myself, I've seen this so often. falling in love, having that projection, believing in it, not understanding that there was this hope in me for something to be fulfilled, for something to finally be complete. And it doesn't work. It doesn't work. It doesn't last. It's a great ride. It's a great adventure. It's a great connection to life. You do feel alive. I felt super alive in my relationships and my romantic endeavors, but unless you're willing to actually look at your own patterns, to look at your own structures, motives, desires, layers, there's always going to be this is my own experience, there's always going to be a certain threshold of how deep or how far you can go into a relationship before there's a closing off. Like, till here we can go, we can communicate, we can be honest, but at this point, no go. No go. We stop here. And then you feel it. You feel all alone again. And in that aloneness, you realize this isn't the person. This isn't the person. And then you start to look, see, okay, from this person, I learned these kind of lessons. Maybe you do that. Not everybody does that. But maybe you look at the whole relationship, you make conclusions, you think like, okay, what was good, what could have been better, what can I learn from this, so I don't repeat it, or I don't, how can I like see this completely and be fully conscious of it? Not repeat it, but how can I evolve through this? And then you go on and you look for somebody and you try a new strategy, a new thing. But again, are you aware? Are you again looking for something? Are you again hoping for something? Hoping to fulfill something? Hoping to get something? To complete something? Or, in fact, are you just being yourself? And are you allowing yourself to experience? Now, being yourself. I heard, or I read very recently from Martin W. Ball, his book, Being Yourself. It's basically being energetically fully open, allowing your energy to completely express itself. Now, when you do that, when you allow yourself to be fully yourself, to allow the energy to take you wherever it wants, what you notice is the energy is very fluid. It's very irrational, unpredictable, and it can lead you into magical pathways. It can lead you into all kinds of experiences which you could not set up by yourself, which you could not plan. The thing is, when you feel the energetic pull, the energy is pulling you, or calling you, or longing for something, there's the mind. And you think, or you believe, that you are the mind, and you're not really aware of all these dynamics usually. So whenever you have this feeling, you try to contextualize it, to rationalize it, to see the benefits of it. You try to make decisions based on past experience, projecting onto now, and projecting on the future, weighing out the scales, and then getting a decision, getting a risk to reward ratio. And of course, your own capability to take the plunge is also there. It's your own ability to let go, or to trust, or to try, or to handle fear, or to handle uncertainty. And even that is also based on your past, how traumatized you were by certain experiences or weren't, how much freedom you had, how you related to it all. So it's all very like complicated, and it's all very put together. Like there's so many pieces to this. But where I'm heading to is to be yourself. In the beginning, it can feel like you almost have to go against your thinking. You almost have to go against your resistance, because your body also has memory. Your body has a certain kind of memory which prevents your body from feeling certain things or being open to certain things or going into certain situations. There's this exercise you can do, like if you imagine yourself in any kind of situation. So let's say I'm imagining now how I'm going to the gym and I'm having a workout. So I'm seeing that happen, having a workout, and I can immediately feel, by seeing that picture in my body, what my bodily reaction to that is. And I can sense whether there's resistance or not resistance. And the beautiful thing about this awareness is that every negative sensation or every negative, let's say, impression or judgment that you have against anything really is all conditioning. It's all conditioning, either from you, from ancestors, from I don't even know, but it's all coming from somewhere. It can be passed on, or it can be karmically, or it can be from another lifetime. It can be from your own experience now between 0 and 6, from your childhood. There are many sources. It almost has to be like a conscious decision to truly live. And it's only by trial and error that you understand that by trying to live by ideas, through ideas, fulfill ideas, making ideas happen, it doesn't really fulfill you. It doesn't last. It's ephemeral and it's very fleeting. The feelings and the ideas, they don't always go together. Then of course you can go by the body. You can just follow your impulses, your instincts. Now, if you do that, you will find yourself being very spontaneous. You can be very direct. You can be very evolved at whatever you're doing. But there will be, in my own experience, there will be this clarity that's missing, because you will be so in whatever you're doing. You can become too intense or too serious about things, or too strong, too pushy, too tense, or too much. You can try to do and be too much. It's another part. And when you realize that doesn't work also, and I haven't had that experience fully, but I sense it, then there's the third part where you allow the energy, and you understand that the energy is like your compass, and your energy can guide you to whatever you need at whatever time you need. You can use your mind. You can use your mind to ask guidance, direction, to open up things for you. You can use the mind to ask for these things of the universe, of God, or of whatever you believe in. And then energetically, you will start to get symbols or signs or direction. And all you have to do is be aware of the energies and follow the energy. Now, the energy has its own intelligence. The energy is very profound, because in my own experience, it's like the closest and the realest thing there is to experience, because it has feelings, it has information, it has insight, it has knowings, it has so much in it, yet it's fluid. So that means there's constant movement, there's constant change, and there's constant opening, transfiguration, transformation. It's not fixed. And to live from your energy, you have to almost, in a way, detach yourself or let go of your mind and of your body, so that the mind and the body can regain their balance. When you let go of the grip, they can regain their balance. And when they're balanced, you can allow you can use certain yogic practices like hatha yoga or meditation to bring the mind, the body, and the energy into alignment. When there's alignment between all three, whatever you feel, you do, you be, you act, it's all in one direction. There's no resistance pulling you back, holding you back, resisting, so you don't miss the experience. You completely go through the experience. And when you go through an experience like that, you will see that it will feel like you live intensely and you live fully. It can feel like in a year you can live like 10 years or 20 years. It really feels like that, because in whatever you're doing, you're so engaged completely. And because of that, time loses its value. It can really feel like looking back after a couple of weeks or months, you feel like, holy, you've been through so much and it's still ongoing. It can feel challenging because in a way you need a certain kind of willingness to let go. And if you cannot let go, if you want to control everything, the process will always go to a certain kind of threshold and then it will stop. So you will have incremental changes, incremental transformations, incremental. That's been my experience, because I've really had trouble. Well, there was a lot of trouble letting go of certain control mechanisms, because there was a need or a want to hold on to safety, to people, to a certain kind of familiarity. There was an unwillingness, and that's what it was, an unwillingness to be alone and to live alone and not depend on anybody. And because of that, there was an unwillingness to go fully, to trust fully. So I only allowed myself to do it in increments. This works. You go gradually, but looking back on it, you see that it's only a certain belief, it's only a certain thought, it's only a certain resistance. And you see, who could you be if you didn't have that? Who would you be if you didn't have that belief or that thought that was blocking you? And who you could be might feel like somebody who's selfish or who just does and goes for what he wants unapologetically. And it's not that it's coming from egoism or wanting to get something for himself. It's honoring the flow of life, honoring what life is longing for, and living that, living from your true alignment. yeah, I don't know what I said, but I said a lot. Thank you so much.